What is up, my colleague friends? Welcome to the video. Thank you for clicking on the link. I appreciate it as always, or unmuting it, whatever platform you happen to be watching this on. So I've got a couple little calibration drills for you today. It's been a while since I put a video up. It feels like forever. Man, my life is just so crazy busy. I won't bore you with any of those details though. So anyway, today what I've got for you, it's got a little bit of a I don't want to say backstory. There's some reasons why I've come up with these two particular calibration drills that I'm going to show you, and it's kind of important for me to kind of describe that, tell you about that before I get into the drill. So where these came from, the reason why I put these together is actually started like last year. One of the first times I went and trained with John up in Seattle. We were working on contact and contradas, which if you're not familiar with that, what that means is it's your contact is meeting the force, it's 1 against 1, 2 against 2, 3 against 3, 4 against 4. Contradas is following the force, so like 2 against 1 or 2 against 3 or 3 against 2. Those are your contradas lines, okay? And there are standard ways that we drill this in Kali, as far as through Kali Center, how we were taught to learn these, how we're taught this stuff, right? So you've got like basic giving of contradas, basic taking of contradas, where you're taking that contradas line, and then you've got the advanced line. And when I went up to John and trained with him last year, like one of the first times, we were talking about this, and I was trying to, do that, like take contradas, like where you do your 3 to broken 4 to your 2 to take your basic line. But against somebody like John, he sees that like 2 miles away. He sees that forever, How are you going to get something like that against somebody like John? Or, even doing your basic line where you go 1, broken 2, down to the 3. You know what I mean? Down, the 2 takes the 3. Any of those, doing the basic drill that we're taught to learn these contradas lines, when you try to put that into practice and use it like when you're flowing with somebody, when you're sparring, it's just, they see it coming, right? And so what I talked to him about is like, all right, how do you deal with that? And what he did is he challenged me, and he said, Keenan, it's just following the force and meeting the force. That's it. And he said, I want you to start thinking about ways that you can get into the contradas line, follow the force, that's all it is, and then get back to the contact line where you're meeting the force. Just start playing around with ways of different ways of doing that. The way that we teach it with these basic drills, that's to teach you the lines, that's to teach you how to kind of get in and out of them. But once you know that, you should start kind of figuring out ways to do that a little bit more creatively. And so over the last, I don't know, it's been about a year since he's told me that, a little bit less than that. And so just this last weekend, I was flowing around with one of my students. We were sparring a little bit, put on the gloves, and we're attacking each other's hands and whatnot. And a couple of these things that I have been working on over the these last several months, that John had challenged me to be working on this, were just flowing out, and they were working, just working, right? And so. And I realized that these movements are movements that I've done with John up there when we flow around with him, and these are things when I do this against somebody like John, it causes him to change his tactic, right? Because his visual acuity is ridiculous. It's insanely hard to hit him. Okay, but you do various things, and it makes him change his tactics, which is a way that you can defend yourself. When you're going up against somebody that's not as good as you, these techniques they chew people. It's a very high percentage way of getting your hits while transitioning and flowing between contact and contradas in very unique ways that flows with combat. Hopefully that makes sense. to you. If it sounds like I'm speaking a foreign language, then I highly recommend you checking out Collie Center's stuff on their website and looking at what they've got to say about contact and contradas before you know, try to do any of this stuff. But that's enough of that. That's the background of this. Now let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. Actually, before I show you the footwork, let me show you what we're actually defending against. So this is a counter. This is a counter to the most basic combination that you're gonna see. Okay, and this, you see it a lot because it's honestly, it's pretty effective, and it's just super instinctual. What I mean is your fluid 1 to your fluid 2. Okay, oftentimes when you're floating around, you should just expect at some point somebody's gonna step left 45 with their 1 and then try to attack up forward triangle with their 2. It's the most basic movements, and it just comes the most naturally and the easiest to people. And oftentimes, especially when you're first starting to spar, just that is just what kind of flows out of people. Okay, and so these calibration exercises that I'm going to show you, these two, are to deal with that combination. Your person that steps left 45 on 1 and wants to come up forward triangle with their 2. Just explain that. Now, let's show you the footwork. Okay, so we're going to use our diamond with our infinite line here, right? Our 90-degree line. And so we start off with the footwork in bladed position at the apex of our diamond. And you notice I've got our quarters here, right? I've got quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our back foot, our left foot here, and we're going to step on the 90-degree line. Because remember, they're stepping on the 45, right? They're coming up, they would be right there, and they would be stepping up here, and their intention would be to move up forward triangle to move you from your space. So what we're doing is we're going to step on the 90, because this is a greater angle than their 45, which allows us to come around their hand and actually take their hand with our strike that I'm going to show you. Then we're going to take this right foot and step into quarter 3, okay? This would be coming directly at them because they would still be roughly here-ish. And then our back foot, we're going to step up here re-quartering, and we're going to use the apex of the diamond to come forward ever so slightly with a thrust, actually, is what we're going to do. But we're going to go ahead and do that again. So it's in bladed position, back foot steps on the 90-degree line. We turn facing where our opponent would be. Right foot steps into quarter 3. And then we are re-quartering, stepping up our left foot to the apex of the diamond. One more time on this for this calibration drill, and I'll show you the hands. So onto the 90, into 3, and then re-quartering. Boom, like that. Okay, so what are we doing with the hands, right? So with our weapon, rather. So with the weapon, what we're doing for the first one is we're going to be starting in the number 1 chamber. And as they throw their angle 1, we're going to come out as if we're going to throw an angle 1, but we're going to take the tip over our head and we're going to throw a reverse angle 2. And then our hand stops right outside the shoulder. Our upper third should be covering their pocket, their number 2 pocket. And we're going to do what's called a doblete. So we did a main edge strike, and we're just going to do a wrist manipulation so that we can do another main edge strike. And then from here, leaving the weapon there, covering that pocket, we're just going to extend it for a thrust. All right? So it's reverse angle 2, doblete, palm down thrust. Do it facing this way. Reverse angle 2, doblete, palm down thrust. One more time, facing this way. Reverse angle 2, doblete to a palm down thrust, like that. Now putting it together with calibration, when our partner or opponent steps left 45 with their 1, we step on the 90 with our left foot, and we swing our reverse angle 2, taking their hand. Now, to be on the contradas line, you have to be ever so slightly behind time. Now, if you know about changing time, in order to drive, if I want to then drive into my opponent, I have to actually be ahead of time, which is why we're using this doblete, because that helps us to go from behind time to being ahead of time. It also transitions us from the contradas line back to the contact line. So for those of you that are unaware, or just as a quick reminder, when you're on contrada, so if we're on the basic line, which is what this is, if I wanted to go back to contact, I would need to do broken, circular, a florete, or even a doblete, because that's putting 2 strikes on the number 2 angle, right? Broken is 2 strikes, circular is 2 consecutive strikes, florete, that's 1 strike, 2 strike, doblete, 1 strike, 2 strike. You're putting 2 strikes consecutively on the number 2 line that puts you back to contact. So what I'm doing with this is I'm immediately going to the contradas line and then immediately going back to contact. What this does is it makes it so that if I missed their hand on this contradas, my upper third of my weapon is covering their number 2 pocket. My sword would roughly be about here, so it shuts down their ability to drive and throw that angle 2. So I'm stepping reverse 2, doblete, covering that line, and then if your partner's wearing headgear, or if this is a live situation, you would step on that diamond, re-quartering, and notice how it gives me the extension that I need, while I would be quartering my opponent just in case they are able to defend, because this allows me to maintain dominance over the circle, dominance over the engagement, right? So it's starting in the number 1 chamber, and I'm stepping on 90 with my left foot as I throw a reverse angle 2, then do a doblete, and then taking this left foot as I thrust, and I'm stepping essentially up left 45, re-quartering. Boom, like that. Let's do that a couple of times for you. It looks simple, it is simple, and it's fast and it works. Boom. One more. Like that. Okay. That's the first one that just uses the basic line. I did one also that encompasses both. Actually, the basic line, which is your 2 takes your 1, and then your advanced line, which is either your 2 takes your 3 or your 3 takes your 2. So let me show you that one real quick. All right. So footwork first. Okay, back here in front of our little our map here on the ground. So this time what we're going to do, same thing. We're starting off with our left foot here, stepping on that 90-degree line as they step up left 45, throwing their 1. This time, though, I am going to bring my feet together so that I can take this left foot and step it onto my left 45 of the diamond. And then I'm going to take my right foot, bring it together, and step across the broken line into my opponent, like that. So once again, step on 90, feet come together, step up to the left of the diamond, and then step up the broken line across the diamond. A couple more times. Here, feet together, step up, turn, and step into your opponent. Let's do that one more time. Like that. All right, now the hands. So, once again, this starts off with our reverse angle 2. This time, when it comes over here to just past center line. So center line is hip and shoulder width apart, right? So once I throw this and my hand passes center line, it's now safe. I'm going to use a wrist manipulation and turn this to an angle 3 and bring my hand to the other side of the center line to roughly the crown of my head, like that. So it's reverse 2 to your 3. The reason why you don't come all the way down to chamber before you come back up is because, like I said, you want to get back ahead of time. To be on the contradas line, you have to be slightly behind time, so you need to be able to utilize a wrist manipulation to put yourself back ahead of time so you can drive forward, okay? So we are doing our reverse 2. Don't go all the way to chamber. Once your hand crosses center line and it's clear, you're going to wrist manipulation, turning this to your angle 3, and then we're going to do a backhand corto thrust. So it's a reverse 2 to a 3 to a backhand corto thrust. Reverse 2, 3, backhand thrust. Reverse 2, 3, backhand thrust. Do it again this way. Reverse 2, 3, backhand thrust. So with the footwork, we're stepping on our 90 as we throw our reverse 2. This time, once that change happens, notice the calibration. That's when my feet come together and I step forward when I strike. My foot hits on the ground when my strike lands, when I hit my opponent. Then I'm going to turn facing my opponent as I do a backhand corto thrust to the head. Once again, only do that last part if your partner is wearing headgear or it's a live situation, or you're at least wearing, or at least protecting your eyes, you guys. Don't be thrusting at people's faces unless, take care of each other. Take care of your training partners. You need them. You can't do your martial arts without them. Okay, so on 90 with our left foot with the reverse 2, feet come together as I start this transition, as I start my wrist manipulation, and my weapon lands when my foot lands on the ground, turning into my opponent, doing a backhand corto thrust. This way, reverse 2, feet together, 3, backhand thrust. So what we're doing is we are going on the basic contradas line where 2 takes the 1. Then we are switching it to the advanced line where the 3 takes the 2. Because for those of you that don't know, or as a quick refresher, to get to 3 takes the 2, generally when somebody throws an angle 1, you would do a vertical 1 down to the 3 and then step up left 45 as you throw your 3 to their 2. Since a reverse angle 2 is a circular energy strike, it can be used to get you to the advanced line where the 3 takes the 2. So with this drill, you're actually practicing both. You're practicing the basic line where 2 takes the 1 to the advanced line, and then you're just thrusting in the face. So you're using both contradas lines on this. So once again, On 90, you strike your reverse 2, feet together. Once you start that manipulation, step up, striking your 3, step into them with the backhand corto thrust. Just do it a couple of times here. One more. One more. Why not? Like that. That's what I got for you guys today. I know this is a long video. If you made it all the way to the end, you're awesome. Appreciate you. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I've really come to love these combinations. They're high percentage combinations. You can actually get these on a lot of it works very well. So at least it does for me. Hopefully it does for you. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. Like I said, if you're in the Long Beach, Washington area and you want to come and learn some Kali, come on out to the Grange on Tuesdays from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Or you can come out to the Long Beach Elementary School Saturday mornings in the outdoor basketball court. It is covered from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. We're having a seminar out here this summer in August 17th and 18th. Details are on my Facebook page if you guys are interested in that. Anyway, I love you. You're amazing. Thanks again. God bless. Deuces.